Hey guys, and welcome back to the third episode of the Quarantine Diaries with my cousin Shamir. I realised actually on the first episode, I said your name really, really weird. I don't know if you clocked it. When I watched it back, I was like, wait, what? How did I say your name? But welcome back. How you doing? Everything good?
All good, all good. Just, photoshopping, editing, the same thing, different day pretty much.
Good. Well, as it's become kind of tradition, even though we're only 3 episodes in, we've got to do a trim check. Mine's kind of more wavy now, and the beard has gone out a bit more, but I think it's okay. It's kind of surviving now. How about yours?
Man, I'm starting to tuck mine behind my ears now. Like, I've got none of these, flying wings anymore. It's getting long enough, so...
Yeah.
Hopefully, I'm actually digging it pretty long, so... We'll see if we'll keep it when barber's open.
Cool. Well, yeah, we'll all see, won't we? I think I don't know, maybe I might fall in love with my longer hairstyle, because I never would have grown it this long otherwise, right? This is the only reason. Cool. All right. Well, we'll just jump straight into it. You know, we won't faff around. We won't faff around with no pleasantries. We'll go in and talk about tunes, right? So last time we talked around like my Instagram top 3 tunes.
Yeah.
And I wanted to talk about like albums that you kind of have on rotation. So like, I guess what I want to know is like, what album are you digging right now? And then like, what like 1 or 2 albums are your like, you know, your go-tos that you can just go to at any time, whatever you're feeling like, and you just know like you'll be gassed or happy or whatever. It will just make you content when you go back to them. So like, what's kind of one album that you're really digging and really listening to at the moment?
Well, man, like, I made a playlist and on Spotify called, obviously, Shamir KP, like, nothing different ever. And I've just put songs on there that really motivate me in the morning and get me out of bed, like, pumped and energized. And those songs are actually the songs that I usually play on rotation anyway. So it's the likes of You Watch the Throne, a bit of Jay-Z, Magna Carta, the Black Album. Throw a little Kanye West in there. Yeah, man. Yeah. So I've just been having that on rotation, to be honest. Like, pretty much listening to music in the morning. In terms of, like, those are the albums. And then song-wise, if we do individual songs, maybe like Kalani and Tory Lanez, they got a song called Can I? And also, surprisingly, Harry Styles' Watermelon Sugar. Yeah.
That's so out of character with the rest of those tunes.
100%. What about you?
So for me this week, it's been KSI's album Dissimulation.
Oh, okay.
I don't know whether you've given it a listen or not, but like...
Not yet.
It actually, like... so a lot of people will dismiss it and go, you know, like, it's his debut album, he's come from YouTube, he's not a musician, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. And they'll overlook the fact that actually it's a really, really good album. I think at least, like, there's a good mixture of, like, energy rap, like, you know, like, high energy rap stuff. And then there's more, like, slower, deeper stuff. Obviously, there's some really, really good features in it. So, like, there's a tune with Rich the Kid and AJ Tracy in there. Okay. There's a tune with Jeremiah in there. Obviously there's the tune with Tion Wayne and Swarms. So like there's some big features in the album as well, which obviously kind of like gives it a bit more appeal as well. But like for me, that's kind of that in the last week has been like the album I've just been hitting on repeat on my daily walks. Wow. But yeah, like, I think it's been really, really good. Obviously today, so we're recording this on Friday, he found out that the album charted number 2 in the UK.
Oh, wow. Okay,
which is madness. That's madness,
crazy.
Right?
That is actually crazy. From a YouTuber to a boxer to now like a rapper.
Yeah, that's exactly. Crazy. It's crazy, man. So yeah, it debuted number 2. I think the 1975 and their album they went in at number 1. Oh. But anyways, you know, like for a debut album for someone who, you know, is not known predominantly as a musician, that's still pretty sick. But yeah, I think my go-to album, I'd say from the last like year and a half is Astroworld.
100%.
Such a good album, man.
Did you watch his Netflix special?
I did.
Man, how inspirational was that?
Mate, it was so good. Yo. Like the best bit I found was I can't remember what tune was it. Oh, I can't remember. but there was a scene where they're in this house in LA, I think, and they were like they were just finishing up the song. Like the majority of it was there. They were in the room with the producer. And they were just getting gassed.
Yeah.
Like, he was like so gassed. They were like jumping around
on the sofas and stuff.
Yeah. Bro, that was sick.
Man, it must have been butterfly effect, you know.
No, I don't think it. You know what? I'm gonna get up the album list now. I'm sure once I see the album list, I'll figure it out.
Yeah, man. But that Netflix actually brought a tear to my eye. Like, it was so inspirational. How, like, what was it, like 12 years ago? He was just performing in front of like 15 people, and now it feels like it's 15 million people, just like on massive stages. And yeah, man, it really like inspired me. Obviously, I'm not gonna become like a musician, but just that the growth and like the determination to actually be something and get somewhere. And actually, what he stood for, like his city, and the whole concept around Astro World.
Yeah.
That was actually really inspirational.
I love the fact that he loves theme parks, man.
Yeah.
I'm a big theme park fan as well, right? So it's sick that I think it was, just looking at the album list now, I think it was No Bystanders.
Might have been.
Give me a second. I'm just gonna give it a listen now.
F the club,
my friend.
F the club.
Oh yeah, it was definitely this song. Wait.
Yeah.
Spent 10 hours on his flight, man.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it was this one. It was definitely that tune. It was definitely No Bystanders. Yeah, I've got to listen to the rest of it just for gas. Whatever ass play. Yeah.
No way.
Fuck the club up. Yeah. Yo.
Yeah.
That's definitely a gas tune. Okay, it was definitely that tune. What a banger. But what are your like? So I know you're a big Watch the Throne fan.
Oh my.
So I'm gonna say exclude Watch the Throne from this next question.
Yeah,
but like, what album or even artist is your like go to when you just you're in the car, you just need something to listen to that you know you will like? What do you go to?
Man, I just pressed that shuffle on This Is Drake on Spotify. To be fair, like
okay.
Tunes after tunes. If
Drizzy.
not that, like if that's a bit too bait, then maybe like Cruel Summer. So Kanye West's projects with like Big Sean, 2 Chainz, etc. That's really good. That's really like inspirational, you could say, like motivating. You just really want to achieve something after listening to any of those songs. On top of that is like Beyonce's songs, to be fair. So like songs like Formation and like, even like deeper tunes like Sorry and stuff, and then the Lion King soundtrack and the Black Panther soundtrack. So like all the songs from there, they're incredible, man.
I was listening to actually on my walk just today on Shuffle came on Beyonce Party, the one featuring Andre 3000.
Yeah.
But I realised how sick that tune is. It's so good.
It's crazy.
Yeah, man, that's such a good tune. But it's interesting to listen to. Like, I guess everyone has that like album or artist they can always go to, regardless of how you're feeling. And it's interesting to hear. I think just quickly before we move on from this, I think for me, other than Astro World, if I think about a UK artist, for me it's like Skepta and Microphone Champion. Okay. That kind of album came out. When did it come out? It came out a long time ago. Probably talking nearly 10 years ago, I think. Yeah. Man, that was when, like, for me, Skepta was in his peak. Yeah. Like the tunes he was pumping out then were so good. But yeah, we're talking about things that like keep you company, particularly music. So obviously you finished uni last year, I want to say.
Year ago,
right? So it's been over a year, right? Or nearly a year since you finished, right?
Yeah, so like finished in June last year, so
so it's been a year.
Got my certificate in October, yeah, man.
Wow, okay. So how have you found the year after uni? What did you expect from this year? Obviously Corona stuff withstanding. What did you, I guess, expect of this first year, and kind of how has it been? Has it been different? Has it been better? Has it been worse? Like, how's this last year been for you since you left uni?
Yeah, man. So obviously applying to jobs like constantly, like every single day applying to jobs. Obviously this corona thing took everything out the window pretty much. Got emails on pretty much all the same day like, I'm sorry, we're not like hiring anyone anymore and all this stuff. But yeah, it's been interesting. I felt like I've become like more into like obviously the video editing and making content like that, rather than getting into a job straight away. I think it was good because actually, like, we'll dive deeper into it. Well, third year I had my dissertation and I just really hated it. Like, it was the worst thing at that moment in time. I'm pretty sure everyone's thinking the same.
You hated the subject or the process of doing it, or
the process? 100% the process. The subject, obviously, I love the subject. It was about social media marketing, so that was like down my alley. But the process of it, and I was like, this degree doesn't even mean anything anymore in these days. I was saying like the cliche things to the point where I was just gonna leave with like 2 months left of uni. But I stuck through it, and I did my dissertation in like probably like 3 weeks or something crazy, 2-3 weeks. And yeah, I ended up getting a first on the dissertation, so I'm not too mad. I got a first out of it.
Sick.
But yeah, I kind of felt myself traveling away from like the whole, get a professional job stuff. So I don't think I've been like really, really passionate about that. So I think that's why I've gone into like more video editing and really like what I'm actually passionate about and what I enjoy doing. To be fair.
Yeah. Interesting. Because I did the complete opposite, right? I did a complete opposite. I decided that when I finished uni, I wanted to, because the way I thought about it was by the time I got to 21, I'd spent my entire life learning to do things.
Yeah.
And I got to the stage where I just wanted to do things rather than learn about doing things. And I'm very much a believer in learning by doing rather than learning by reading or learning by
100%.
Theory or whatever, and so I made that jump straight into a job, and I've pretty much been working now for 6 years straight. I think the one thing I've learned, which is different in your situation, is I probably wish I did take a year out at some point, either before uni, after uni, or something like that, because I feel like I'd not had any time to like focus on me, really.
Exactly, yeah.
Which it becomes very difficult, right, when you are working, because you get caught up with all work stuff and things like that, and then you have to try and balance that with things like saving and wanting to you get more responsibility as well, which 100%. Means that you have I have a mortgage now, right? That's a huge responsibility, and that's not, I can't decide tomorrow that I just want to, sack it off and make podcasts forever, right? I would love to do that. I just kind of you're not in a position to do that anymore. But I guess it's different, as they say, different. Is it different courses for different?
Different strokes for different folks.
Different strokes for different folks. That's the one. I was like, what is the saying? But it's so very true, right?
100%.
For some people, it makes sense to make that jump straight into kind of a structured corporate job. And for other people, that can actually be quite suffocating. And actually, they get themselves into a really bad state if they do that, if they're not kind of ready for it or are not kind of fully bought into it.
Yeah.
But if we just like rewind the clock a bit before, instead of going into what we're doing after uni, we go right back to kind of like the beginning of uni. If you could think back to like 18-year-old Shamir,
wow,
what were his expectations of uni? Like what did he go into uni thinking he was going to do and learn and achieve or whatever?
Oh wow, good question. Okay, so if I was to rewind back all to that little boy, I'd probably think. I was probably thinking, I applied to all London universities. I wanted to be in London no matter what.
I remember that.
No matter what, I wanted to be in London. So obviously got into London on an unconditional, so it wasn't too bad. And then, yeah, man, I was just expecting party after party after party, and it was exactly party after party after party. From the learning perspectives of things, I knew obviously the rumours went around that first year didn't count, and obviously it didn't. So I wasn't like too phased. It was pretty like easy going. I think it was very much to see like if everyone's on the same level, and actually understanding the content of the degree, let's say. But yeah, the 18-year-old me was like, I'm gonna go to London and I'm gonna make something out of this.
But you go with that hope, right? You go with the hope and expectation and
100%.
of all the kind of good things. But what about like life lessons, right? So obviously there's the kind of social aspect of it, and then there's the kind of learning aspect of it. What did you think you were going to learn about like life and stuff?
Oh, definitely like obviously living by yourself. Doing everything by yourself, like and keeping that type of schedule, and to maintain everything like clean, obviously do laundry, go food shopping, and just like taking all those things into account. And it was actually like a really great experience to understand that and learn that. But I think what I was going to learn most is how could I make use of connections very well, and because obviously being in London, you can really like make use of your connections. You can connect with every type of person in the whole world. Like I got friends that are like live in all different countries and stuff. So like really building my connections and network, I think, was like the main reason to go to London, because I could have gone to Coventry Uni in Coventry. But I went to the London one, and in hopes to build like really good connections and stuff.
So then if you were to go to third year Shamir, who's just graduated, got his first in his dissertation, feeling gassed with himself, what are the things that you would say he learned? What things did he really learn the most, either about himself or about the subject or about life or whatever? And what are some things that maybe you regret from your time at university?
Okay. So let's go with what I actually learnt first. So what I actually learnt, I feel, was like obviously living by yourself and doing all those things by yourself, like making new meals and cooking and stuff. And then that's when I actually started gym, throughout uni. That's when I started to go to the gym. So learning about that, learning about workouts, etc. And then, so what was the next bit to your question?
Well, the first part of it was like, okay, so what did third year Shamir actually learn at university? So looking back at his time, and the other one was around like, do you have any regrets about your time at university?
Let's see. I think I could have gone out one more time, to be fair. We
all could have gone out one more time.
I know, right? Because in second and third year, I actually started travelling from home. So, because I was predominantly in London anyway for like most of the day. Just travelling there, come back to sleep and going there again. Turned out to be like way cheaper. Pretty much lived the same life as I was when I was living in London. And I don't know whether you remember my apartment in London. It was
that place was
that was crazy.
God. I still sometimes go past it and I'm still like, what? Like, so I don't work too far away from it, so I'm always going kind of past that area, and every time I'm like, oh my god, man, this is mad. It was mad when you were there, and every time I walk past, I'm still like, yo, that's crazy.
Yeah, man, I felt like I had to talk about this. This was like one of the pinnacle points of living in London. It was the view, waking up every day to like skylines, the Gherkin, the Shard, like all these different skyscrapers being built and stuff. And I was not gonna lie, I used to sit like near the window, and I used to think I was in like a music video or like a movie, just like really being inspired and stuff. And I was just like, this is amazing. Like that was probably the best part of London. Like my bed, quite literally just my bed. Like,
yeah, I remember the view, but it's not the same for all of us. Hey, I live in London and my view is of nothing. So you were very, very lucky. That's cool though. I think if I think about my answer to that question, I think I would say one of the regrets that I have about uni time is that obviously a lot of my time was taken up either through work stuff or like socializing, you know, with my housemates, with other friends and things like that.
Yeah.
But I did have a lot of other time, like dead time.
Okay.
Which I kind of, in hindsight, looking back now, you know, over nearly 10 years ago, that I kind of regret not doing something more productive in that time.
Yeah.
So I spent a lot of time, you know, going around my friend's house, you know, playing FIFA or whatever, or, you know, playing football outside or whatever. And those were still great, right? Because I still, you know, made some really good friendships and things like that.
Exactly, yeah.
But I, you know, like I think about this video making and stuff like that, bro. If I was like committed to this at uni, I had the time, the resources. I could have been producing content for like 10 years straight now.
That's crazy.
And had all that time to kind of learn and things like that. And you know, I was lucky enough that my parents, you know, I had a PlayStation at the time. I had a Mac as well, so I could have edited videos that way and things like that. And even if it was just gaming videos and stuff like that. And that's for me, I guess, maybe not a regret, but just something I wish I did maybe slightly differently whilst I was at university.
Yeah.
So obviously I'm just trying to like catch up on that now.
Well,
but
yeah, say it. Sorry, saying that about the Mac thing. Like, I was just thinking about my Mac, and it was the same Mac that I had like pretty much 2 days ago, and I was like doing editing and Photoshop and everything. So yeah, that saying like your answer is definitely like my answer as well. I wish I knew all of that stuff back then, and I'd really encourage people to get like into it and become more like digital, make their platform more like digital, their artwork or video making and stuff, because I think it's really beneficial for people to learn that at this stage.
Yeah, and I think it's as much as it is to share and, you know, get followers and subscribers or whatever. I think it's more just like an expression of like your personality as well.
Yeah, 100%.
That you can use as a release.
Yeah.
So often, you know, at university, particularly in first year, you know, you're still socializing and stuff, but you are kind of, you know, you're maybe quite wary and anxious of other people. You don't know like whether these people are like actually nice, genuine people, or whether they're snakes or stuff like this. And you know, obviously with like university work, it takes a bit of time to get used to, because it's very different to like what you're doing maybe at A levels. And then there's the whole thing around staying on your own. Some people find it easier than others. And so I think like creative things like videos, photos, art, music, they're all just kind of ways for people to release in things in ways that kind of makes them feel more comfortable.
Yeah.
Which is why I think everyone should, if they have an interest, you know, do that, post content or whatever, because it just lets you kind of get out what you want, right? Like I love
100%.
doing things like this because maybe I've got things going on in my head that, you know, I wish I could share to people, but I don't. Yeah. I'm not necessarily always talking directly to someone about it. So I can use a medium like this.
Yeah.
To get those thoughts out, right?
100%. Like I definitely think podcasts, because I've got like this podcast and then the one like with my mates, and yeah, just like constantly talking about new things, especially during this time when, you know, you're not really seeing any new people as such. So that constant talking and the sharing of ideas is a form of like art in some ways, right? It's an expression, and I definitely think like video making and podcasting. Well, we've definitely hopped on that train for sure. I'm sure a lot of other people are definitely going to as well.
Well, that's why Spotify paid Joe Rogan $100 million, right? Because podcast is one of the most popular forms of art right now. In terms of growing in popularity as well. So, but that's interesting. But on that point of editing and things like that, You obviously dropped a couple of bags this week.
And more than your Louis Vuitton bag, man.
There we go. We're not going to one up each other in each episode, are we?
I hope not.
Because I have a house, so I think I'm going to win if we get to that stage.
You might win.
But you dropped a couple bags this week, obviously, on the new shiny MacBook. I've seen the video.
Man.
If anyone watching this hasn't seen the video, go check out Shamir's video. Link will be below to his channel. But yeah, go check it out. What are your thoughts on the new Mac? Obviously, you got the 16-inch one. Is that
the big
right?
one? The big one, man.
Big bad boy.
16-inch. Man, it's just magical. It's just absolutely magical. Because I was rocking the 13-inch 2015 before, and it worked. Not gonna lie, like it worked. And my editing started to get a bit much, and like Photoshop, running these big programs. I was running a 128 gig SSD on that one, and it was just taking up storage after storage after storage, and obviously the RAM wasn't as much, so it was running slow. And then I was like, you know what, I don't need one, I want one, but I'm gonna convince myself that I need a new one. And it came to the point where I was editing on Premiere Pro, and Premiere Pro takes up like loads of RAM or whatever it takes up, and it started to freeze, and then it froze, and it was just stuck, and I was like, this is the time. This definitely means I need a new MacBook. So
your breaking point.
That was my breaking point. Hopped on Apple, whacked on that, iCloud sign in. And I was like, let's have a look at these MacBooks. Started to look at, 13-inch. I was like, nah. I need a bigger one. Because, space and having split screen, big ones. Yeah. And
You're
then
trying to justify it to yourself here.
I was. And then, on top of that, I watched about 10 ads of the MacBook that Apple released. Obviously, Apple being like the best marketers. It was all make-believe of, this is the best product you'll ever need. It's the perfect one. It's the best one out yet.
Yeah.
So I hopped right in that train, and I was like, I'm going to convince myself on this one, man, because this is a lot of money right now. And so then, after watching about 10 ads on YouTube, finally got that order in, man. Next day delivery as well. I was very surprised, to be fair. How
are you finding it? Other than the speed.
Mate, it's just, it's actually really big. Like, obviously...
That's what she said.
That's what she said. Yeah, man. I first opened it and I was like, holy crap, this is like an iMac right in front of my eyes right now.
Yeah.
And just high quality, great builds. I can't fault it in any way, shape or form. The speakers are crazy. The resolution of everything is mad, and it's just hella powerful, man.
Were you not tempted by a Windows PC or laptop?
Come on, man. Come on. Don't do that to me. I have an Apple Watch. I have AirPods. I have an iPhone.
Okay.
I have all of these things. And I know where we're going to go into with this talk. We're going to go into the Mac versus PC thing, aren't we? But no, I spent zero time looking at any PCs.
But that's a really interesting thing, right? Because, so for example, I had an iMac, right? Well, I had a MacBook Pro whilst I was at uni, and then that kind of kept me through quite a few years, and then it died on me. And back when I was living at home with my parents, I was like, do I buy another MacBook Pro or do I buy an iMac?
Yeah.
And actually, the specs of the two are very, very similar, actually, when you compare them. The only thing is you pay a premium for the kind of portability of a MacBook Pro. Yeah. So the obviously, because you've got more space in an iMac and things need to be smaller and more compact, which obviously makes things more expensive in the MacBook Pro.
Right.
So I decided to go for an iMac. And it was great. I was loving it. It did everything I needed it to do. I could run, I was running Final Cut on it. I could run Photoshop on it. No problems.
Yeah.
And then streaming was something that I wanted to get into and really wanted to focus on. And you just can't stream with a Mac. Streamlabs, which is the software, has actually now come out on beta on Mac, so I'd be interested to see how that does work. But
Okay.
that was the point. That was the point for me where I decided to ditch Macs and just build a Windows PC.
Man.
I think if anything, I would never buy a Windows laptop of my own.
Yeah.
I think that's one thing I wouldn't do. But a PC is very different because I now have a PC that I can easily upgrade without having to replace the whole thing.
Yeah.
You know, I don't have to drop $2,000 again. I can, you know, just spend £300-400 on a new graphics card maybe, or 50 quid on some more RAM or something like that, right? And it just gives me that flexibility. But that whole Mac PC debate, you know, it's been going on for years and it will continue to go on.
Time, man.
Yeah, I think Windows just gives you, I think it gives you a bit more flexibility. Like everything's a possibility. I
Right.
find on Windows,
Yeah.
like there's an app for everything. There's, you know, developers created something
Yeah.
that enables you to do something really cool on Windows. And often only some of those things make it to Mac. But just in terms of like ease of use and stuff like that, and there's nothing that touches Mac, I don't think.
No, that's exactly the thing, man. So, first of all, any Apple product is like well built. Even like their £700 wheels, they're well built. Like, and it was the whole concept of how the continuity. I'm like really big about this because
Yeah.
you know I could be on my watch on like the calendar and it will pop up on my Mac that I'm on the calendar on my watch, and it's like, just whoever thought that a watch could ever connect to like a laptop and a phone and your smart lights or any smart gadgets around the house. I just think it's crazy, and plus like AirDrop as well makes everything 10 times easier. When
That's the
editing.
one thing I miss. I
was gonna
miss the
say.
most.
I was gonna say, what do you miss most?
Oh, I used to be able to AirDrop from my Mac to my iPhone in like a second, and now I have to upload to Google Drive. Then I have the Google Drive app on my phone, and then I have to save documents or photos or videos from Google Drive to my camera roll. It's the most inefficient way possible of doing it. It's so frustrating. That's the one thing I wish I had on Windows.
Man, I'm shaking my head loads right now, man. Yeah, so like, what are your specs actually for your PC right now?
You know what? Let's have a look. Let's have a look. This PC properties. Okay, so what am I running? So I am running a Intel Core i5 9600K, which is obviously they brought out the 10th gen just last week. But this is an overclockable CPU.
Okay.
So it means I have it hooked up to a water cooler, which means that I can basically just overclock it and get more performance from it when needed. I've got 16 gigs of RAM. I've got a Asus gaming motherboard. What else have I got? I've got my graphics card is a RTX 2060, which is kind of like it's kind of like the mid tier of like Nvidia's graphics cards. What else have I got? I've obviously got another network card, and I got a couple of fans, and then I got a couple of SSDs in there just for storage. So I've got plenty to deal with. Plenty to keep me company for at least a couple of years before I need an upgrade. But actually, just speaking on that, and whilst you were speaking on Premiere Pro, something came to mind, which I don't know whether you have it or not yet, but just I think about a week ago, Adobe released a brand new update for Premiere Pro. It's 14.2, I think. Actually, let me just check. So basically, so for any nerds watching this, and maybe you know this as well, Shamir, or not, I don't know. But so previously on older versions of Premiere, when you're exporting and rendering a video, hold on, let me just check the version number. I think it's 14. I'm just looking at the version 14.2.0.
Okay.
So that's the latest version. But anyways, so for any nerds watching, right? Premiere Pro, when it renders and exports your video, in previous updates, previously it was solely using the CPU to do that encoding, right?
Yeah.
So what it did, you will see if you have any kind of stats on your computer, you will see that when you're exporting a video, or your CPU usage goes very, very high,
Very
almost
high.
100%. It almost goes 100%. Your fans kick in, the temperature rises.
I think my MacBook is about to take off at any point.
Exactly, right? And so what? And this kind of always been an issue with Premiere Pro, that basically the speed at which you could export was just your CPU was a bottleneck, right? You could have the fastest CPU, but that would still be a bottleneck. Now, what they released in this 14.2 update is what it does is it uses, because obviously your graphics is part of your computer.
Yeah.
So I think in your MacBook Pro, I think it's integrated. I'm not sure. Obviously on my PC, I have a separate graphics card.
Right.
What it does is it uses both to encode and export. So what it means is that if it, like, I think I've watched a couple of videos around like exporting times, but literally we're talking like 60 to 70% better exporting times.
Yo.
So like this, so a 45-minute video. So I'll give you an example, right? The last Quarantine Diaries video we did, which was I think like 49 minutes, I think, something like that, right? It was about an hour. That took me around 32 minutes to export on my PC.
Right.
It was a 1080p video, no 4K or anything, no fancy effects or anything. I tried exporting that video again with the new update, and I did it in like 10 minutes.
Yo, so today, with the video that you just watched before this podcast,
yeah,
I was, had my laptop, finished editing, blah, blah, exported. And I was just like on my phone for a bit, and I was thinking, yo, where did this export, status bar go? Like, where's it gone? It already had done.
Mate, it's mad.
So I don't know whether that was like the new MacBook. Obviously, the new MacBook helps, but maybe it could have been that as well, because I know I did
it's a mixture of the two.
Yeah, it probably is, because this took rapid. It was only a 5-minute video, but I literally looked down at my phone, scrolled a little bit, and looked back up, and it was gone. I was like,
it's
mad. Fair enough.
If anyone watching this that uses Premiere Pro doesn't have 14.2.0,
get it.
Like, just get it. It's so, like, it shaves. If you make lots of videos and things like that, it can shave hours off your life.
Yeah, quite literally.
You can get so much time back. It's such a useful thing to have, and I can't believe it's taken this long for Adobe to, really like utilize the power of the GPU.
Exactly.
To export. But I'm just glad it's finally there, and I'll be enjoying exporting this video much quicker than I exported the last video.
100%, man.
But that's my nerd fest over.
that was a huge nerd fest. I actually loved it.
It was a nerd fest.
But
it was a nerd fest.
Yeah. Go on, carry on.
No, I was just gonna say, and one other thing that I guess I wanted to. One thing that I watched this week that I wanted to touch on, and get your thoughts on, as well as kind of share my thoughts to the audience, is around True Geordie's podcast with Mike Majlak. I think that's how you say his surname.
Malak, yeah.
Majlak. That's how. Majlak. It's one of those kind of American, Germany sounding ones that I never know how to say. Man, that was a hard hitting podcast.
2 hours of realness, that was, man.
It was just realness, wasn't it? Yeah, that's actually the word, right? I don't think there's a better word to describe it. It was just realness. Like, it just, like, I watched it, and the thing that hit me the most was, like, I realized how much of a bubble of a world I live in.
Yeah.
Like, I just
100%.
don't appreciate or understand that world.
Yeah. Yeah, so for anyone that doesn't really know, so, he had, like, these injuries. Like, I think it started off with a skiing injury, and then he had to take, what was it, like, painkillers and stuff. What was the drug called?
Oh, I can't
Opioids,
remember.
right? Opioids.
But yeah, it's a type of opioids, right? It's
Yeah.
it's a prescription painkiller.
Yeah. And he obviously just got addicted to that, and then it became like this massive thing across America that, you know, affected millions and millions and millions. And he was one that was affected by it, like drug use and addiction and stuff. So he suffered for 10 years. I mean, go and look at his stuff, he'll tell you all about it. But yeah, that kind of seeing what's really interested me and, you know, kind of made me think about life and like the appreciation that we don't have to go through those things, you know, or like we're not going through those things currently, and really how you can come out of bad situations as well and make something of yourself. So he's obviously really popular now, like, not to mix followers with like success, but like 1 million followers on YouTube, over 1 million on Instagram as well. He's got a book out, and he's like, how you can kind of like almost 360 your life, like 180 your life, and become something. And I think it gives a lot of hope for a lot of people, and I think that's what his drive is to do, to like give hope and to give motivation for people to get out of those who are in addiction. But yeah, like my thoughts on that podcast were, yeah, man, like 2 hours of pure realness. I watched it in one sitting. I was like, this is what I'm gonna concentrate on right now, and man, it's like pretty life changing. What were your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I think I hadn't used the word realness to describe it, but it's so right. Like, I think if his story teaches you anything, is that if you think you're in like the worst possible situation, things can always get better, and there always is hope. It's never, it's never too late. Like, there's always things that can turn around and change, that can work in your favor when you least expect them. And so when you're down or going through a tough period, just always keep that in perspective, and also try and, where you can, be as optimistic as possible. But I think like, as well as he has his history, I think one thing that I kind of got from it, and admired, I don't really know too much about him, but admired more about him from watching that, is now that he's in the position he's in, like his work ethic and determination and motivation now. He's not, he's 35, right? Which is a lot older than Logan. He's got a lot more years of experience and things like that. And, but he is still kind of keen to grow and expand himself in the things he does and how he does them, and in his relationships and all that type of stuff. And I think that's the bit that, he's kind of got that, not rags to riches, but difficulty to triumph kind of story. And I think it's easy to get caught up in that story, but it is a very powerful story, don't get me wrong. But I think now that he's in the position he is in, I think he's doing lots of things for good, like the book, like sharing his story. Those things are really, really like important things to many people around the world. So I kind of like more admire him now in his today position.
100%.
He's got his head screwed on. I kind of, maybe like many UK people did, right? Like, kind of dismiss him as part of the whole Logan Paul hate and all that type of stuff. But like, you listen to that podcast. He definitely won me over 100%. I wasn't a big fan. Now I've been checking out his stuff. I follow him on Instagram now. You know what? Like, he turned me around, man. He turned me around. Like, I'm a fan now.
That's so crazy. Yeah, because during the whole like KSI and Logan thing, I was rooting for Logan like all the way, to be fair.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
No. How can you be Team USA?
It was like I was living in LA, man. Like, I was rooting them, and part of that reason was because, like obviously Logan made that mistake, but how he turned that around as well. And you've got like two people turning their lives around, and I found them like really motivating and inspiring. And like in Mike's case, you can literally, your life can benefit in any random circumstance. Do you know what I mean? And you can make anything out of your life. You could be what you want and stuff like this. But yeah, like I was rooting for them, and obviously their podcast, they've got podcasts as well, and yeah, I was always just on their side. To be fair, I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, I was living in
bro,
UK.
you took
like,
the L
low-key.
then. You took the L. You took the L with the rest of the America lot. But yeah, like I think I really admire him. And actually, just before this, so I saw, after watching your video, because obviously you had a little feature in there of the new Maverick Clothing line,
Right.
and I was like, yo, this kind of looks quite nice,
It
So
does.
I did a quick Google, went on Maverick.com, and I was like, yo, this stuff looks kind of fly,
It is.
It looks kind of cool. I'm not gonna lie. Like, yo, Logan kind of smashed it with that clothing line. I think it looks sick.
Yeah,
I really,
man.
really do.
100%. Like, that video in particular, and that's why, like, I called the video the day that changed my life. I don't know what it was. Like, it was the new MacBook and, like, obviously that video.
Yeah.
And it was obviously the song as well, which, I could have said, like, when we're talking about music, but it's called On My Way by Rio Cragen.
I thought you were going to say Candy Shop. That was the other song.
Yeah, no, like, that song is just really, that's on my morning playlist to get me up and motivated out of bed and stuff. But yeah, like, the merch is fine. Well, it's not even merch, it's like proper clothing.
No, yeah, it's not merch. I think it'd be wrong to call it merch.
Yeah, 100%. Like, it looks pretty high quality. I've not got my hands on anything as of yet.
Yeah, I might have to try and cop me some Maverick.
100%, man. Like, that's so crazy that you were against, like, the whole Logan and their whole camp type of thing. That's crazy.
Yeah, obviously, like, I was just Team UK. Like, we've talked about this in the past, right? I'm just a big Sidemen fan, and therefore JJ fan. But yeah, I'm just looking at the Maverick stuff. I think it's quite nice. Obviously, loads of stuff is already sold out.
100%.
But yeah. Anyways, as we leave you with that, we don't want to big up Logan Paul too much. Don't want to boost his ego.
We got our own brands to work on.
Exactly. We don't need to raise Logan Paul. He's got enough clout as it is already, right? Shell some of it this way, man. Shell some of it this way. But yeah, cool. We'll leave it at that. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. As you guys always know, our links to our YouTube channels, etc., you can find all below now. Give us a follow. Let us know if you want to feature in an episode. Maybe we'll have some guests sometime soon.
We can have some guests on.
That would be good. And also let us know if you want us to chat about anything in particular. Do you want our opinion on, I don't know, football coming back? I'm so excited about that. Do you want our opinion on PS5 versus Xbox? I don't know.
Who knows?
But yeah, let us know if there's anything you want us to talk about. We're happy to talk about it.
Whack it all in the comments.
Exactly. We're happy to chat about anything. Otherwise, we'll just keep chatting about rubbish and hope you guys enjoy it. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. I appreciate you guys checking this one out. And catch you on the next one.
Peace.